everyone, Chris back with another vinyl update video. A quick run through of some things I've recently picked up, all New Zealand material. First up, what we're listening to now, this is Skallander, a self-titled album that came out about 2007-2008. I've only just picked up on this out of Wellington. Bevan Smith is one of the duo who make this. Matthew, I can't remember his last name, is the other half. It'll be on here. Go, Matthew Woodson. And Bevan Smith is in groups such as Signer. There's a lot of read reviews of this that can describe it as haunting, hazy, acoustic electronic pop, and I think that's pretty accurate. I'm really thrilled with this record actually. Really nice. I've been playing it a lot since I got it, and beautiful packaging. It came out in the UK on Type Recordings 2007. Skallander, I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure whether it's Skallander or Skallander, but we'll go with Skallander. Next up, Opposite Sex. This has already been shown by Sonic Mainliner, one of his videos, out of Dunedin. This is on Fish Rider Records, which is a great label. It's run by a guy called Ian Henderson, and they kind of specialise in quirky, psychedelic indie pop. The Puddle are on Fish Rider Records. Ian Henderson plays in that group. His brother George Henderson is the driving force behind that band. I've showed an album of theirs in an earlier video, Playboys in the Bush, which is their latest, which is great. There's a new one coming out. This is a younger outfit, fronted by this woman, Lucy Hunter. She's got a really kind of quirky voice, so this is kind of, quirky psychedelic pop, and only 150 copies of this, but well worth checking out, and basically anything on Fish Rider Records is really good. It's an older release. This is from Gate. Gate is Mike Morley from, you might know of him from the Dead Sea. Plays guitar and sings in that band. Gate is his solo project. He's put out albums under that name for a number of years. This is Metric from 1992. You've got 8 pieces on here with the vocals and guitar, so kind of, loose kind of song structure, but noisy guitar improvisation. And if you're a fan of the Dead Sea, then you'll like this. I certainly do. I'm a fan of that kind of stuff for sure. Alright, this is all going to fall apart in my hands. This is Lost Rockets, and it's their self-titled EP. So I told you it would fall apart. So this is just a fold together sheet of paper here. This is out on a new label called Hell Is Now Love, which is comes from the name of a Dead Sea song. And this is on a lathe cut, so it's not on vinyl, it's cut on plastic by King Records, which are in the South Island of New Zealand. And it's a really limited runs of these things, only 50 copies of this. And sometime I must put together a video of all of my King Records lathe cuts. You tend to get a few of them in New Zealand because it's a cheaper way for people to put something out. You don't get the same fidelity as you do on a vinyl record, but it's still really nice for a band to be able to put something out. And there's a little insert there as well. And I picked this up because I saw a poster advertising it saying for fans of the 3Ds, HDU and Belter Space, and well, that's me. So although I didn't hear so much of the 3Ds in here, didn't really have that pop element, but certainly could hear Belter Space. And if you know of the New Zealand band Meter Man, it reminded me of that as well. This is Pala from Sam Hamilton, and this came out in 2010. This is his third album, first to come out on vinyl, I think. And this is kind of, he's a field recordist. A lot of the sounds on here were recorded on a 4-month trip to the Amazon to record field sounds, and he puts it together with electronic music and experimentation. He's influenced by listening to jazz programs when he was younger, and I don't know. I mean, I've got to give it a few more listens. It didn't grab me a heap, but it's interesting, and I'll give it some more listens as well. And there's some of the titles on here: Cities, Plants and People, Perhaps We Could Burn Our Weapons, might give you a sense of the kind of vibe of this Sam Hamilton Parlour. Now this is really interesting. This is from a German label. I'm going to get the name of this wrong. Unwucht. I'm sorry, my German is non-existent. Anyway, Unwucht, and they're re-releasing Builderine recordings. So Builderine of the Builders, writing really kind of quirky, interesting indie songs in the 80s and the 90s, and the records that have been re-released in this series of 4 were all put out in really limited runs by a label called Offset. So this is a re-release of 6 Impossible Things, which originally came out on 7-inch in a run of 100 in 1981 maybe. So what Unwucht are doing is repressing these on 12-inch, and then they're reproducing the original cover art in a screen print. So this is absolutely beautiful cover, and digging out historical related material for each of the releases. They're going to be spread out over, I think, one every 3 months. You can subscribe to the whole series, and then you get an additional 7-inch at the end as well. There's a reproduction of an article about music from the time, and this is the first of the 4. So yeah, just a real passion. It's from the same label who put out the Krypton 10 compilation last year, pulling together other stuff put out on Offset, and I don't know why it's happening all the way over in Germany, but yeah, really pleased that they're doing it. This is a pretty eclectic bunch of New Zealand records here. This one is Arc of Ascent, Circle of the Sun, and Arc of Ascent, I can't remember the name, but the guy who's the driving force behind this, Craig Williamson, also has a much more kind of psychedelic outfit as well, kind of space rock, and this is kind of space rock, psychedelic, and heavy. So you've got all of those elements in here. So as well as kind of lead and rhythm guitar, you've got sitar, tempura, you've got space guitar and wordless spirit chant. So it's bringing together these kind of mystic elements and kind of heavy rock as well. And this is also out on a German label, Crowded Mind Records. It was originally released, I think, a few years ago, and yeah, just come out. So did a nice job of that. Chris Knox, a New Zealand legend, sadly suffered a stroke a few years ago and hasn't been able to produce music since, but this is his classic song, Not Given Lightly. This is it came out on, what is it, Communion Records, so it was licensed to them from Flying Nun. This is his classic song. It's gone on to be a New Zealand classic, originally from 1989, so it's got this song, Not Given Lightly, and then 5 songs on the other side from various albums like Croker and Meat, Chris Knox solo albums, and apparently a box of these was just refound, so it's back in the shops after all those years of being unavailable. Flying Nun, as you know, I've talked about before. They're back on track and reissuing material and releasing new material. That has put out the great new Bats album, Free All the Monsters, reissued the Bats Daddy's Highway, that's on my list of things to get. But this is Hellzapoppin from the 3Ds, one of my favourite records. And this came out in 1992. It was never issued on vinyl at the time, it only came out on CD. And now they've issued it on vinyl for the first time, which is really nice to have. So this is kind of loud guitar but incredible pop hooks. So yeah, and coming out at the same time as kind of Nirvana, the Pixies, and just it sits alongside those with quality and I suppose in genre as well. An absolutely blazing band, but always, as I say, with those great pop hooks to their songs. And I suppose one thing with this is obviously they've lost the originals of the photos. So and it looks to me like what they've done is they've had to photograph the cover art of the CD and blow it up, and then it's kind of lost some of its resolution, so they haven't been able to do the full cover. and on the back here what you get is just the CD size reproduction of the artwork. But you know, so good to finally have this on vinyl. It should have been out on vinyl in 1992 after all. And yeah, the 3Ds. They did a reunion tour the year before last, which was just brilliant, and so nice to have this. And to finish up, a couple more Flying Nun records. These are originals, both classics, both highly collectible, and managed to pick these up recently. I was quite pleased. The Clean, Boodle, 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 their classic first EP, which famously climbed to near the top of the New Zealand charts upon its release, and was a big seller for Flying Nun and for the Clean. And this has just got classic songs. You know, anything could happen. Point that thing somewhere else. This is acknowledged as a complete New Zealand classic, and it's got a bit of a tear on the side there, but otherwise in really nice condition. And there's no duds on this. 5 tracks of brilliance. The starting point of the Clean, really nice. And I also picked up at the same time this, which I was really pleased about, the Who Killed Colonel Mustard EP from Board Games. So bratty pop punk, and there's no shortage of that around these days, but you know, this is from, I think it was released in '82, recorded a couple of years earlier. It was the first band of Shane Carter, who went on to, of course, he went on to Straight Jacket Fits and Dimmer, and this was his high school band, and just brilliant songs on here. If you haven't heard them, you'll find clips for these on YouTube. Joe 90, Bridesmaid, and some of the other songs from this EP are on YouTube, and check them out. They're really good, and this is really hard to get, so I was pleased to pick that up. And this is again in really nice condition. So yeah, so some good finds there, and some other things that I hope to pick up in the future when the budget allows. So thanks for watching, thanks for your comments, see you all soon.